Thinking of investing, working, or starting a business in the cannabis industry? We've got you covered right here on Plant Problems. Hosted by Tony Frischknecht, Plant Problems takes a different approach to cannabis than what you're seeing and hearing from the mainstream media. Come along with Tony and be in the know about how to invest, work, or start a cannabis business. Let's get the show started with your host, Tony Frischknecht.
Good morning, everybody. This is Tony Frischknecht with Plant Problems. I hope everybody's doing great today. It's a great morning where I'm at here in Denver, Colorado. I'm glad you guys were able to join me today. This is a exciting start where I'm at right now, and I feel I want to share some unique and interesting stories that I've had. So I was kind of kicking around the idea of what I should share with you first. Of course, you might not be listening to this in order, which it does not matter on the podcast here. But I was really thinking about my past and where I've come from and to where I've ended up now today in 2019. And I started thinking about some stuff that I had wrote in my book that I launched here in April of this year. And one of them was a period in time where I was learning how to risk of your own business is a lot more challenging and until you actually go through some of the stuff. So some of the trials and tribulations of business. So I thought back a little bit and kind of was playing it around in my brain here. And I wanted to share with you guys it was a building moment for myself personally and very exciting and scary all at the same time. So this is back in 2006 time period. I had just rented a 5-bedroom home and I had started my grow operation in the basement in the college area of Fort Collins, right next to CSU. There was a lot of younger kids at the time. I was in my late 20s. I think I was 27. And in the early stages of this business, you had to be very quiet about what you were doing because it was just still pretty much the gray area. The medical marijuana was taking shape, but not too many people knew about it. So I'll take you back to my little business area where my grow was at. And I had set up a small basement area of about 1,000 square feet. And I had 6 lights and 70 plants. And when you're working there, when I would go to my work or my shop, I guess I'll call it, when I would go to my shop, I would enter through the garage. I had a garage door where I just press a button and drive my car in and shut the door. So I was pretty secretive about it. So generally when I was at my shop, I wasn't taking deliveries or anything like that. And I was really hypersensitive. I'm not sure if you've ever been in a situation like that, but when you hear every little pin drop, you're like, what was that? That was kind of like what it was like working in my shop. Since there was really no human contact, I didn't have a lot of distractions happening. It was very quiet most of the time. So I drive into my garage, shut the garage door I just pushed the button on my garage door opener, shut it, and I would exit my car kind of quickly, shutting the door quietly, and I would step off the garage right into the house. And then I would walk down about just a flight of steps to the basement. And so many times where I'd be working there early in the evening, and afternoon, evening time was a pretty good time. So one day I was actually doing some trimming on some plants. I had just recently started my harvest process. And I would be down there and in the basement, and I would be listening to music and just kind of drowning out different sounds because it just made it it would make the process a lot easier for me. It was kind of like, if you heard that saying, ignorance is bliss. If I didn't hear it, it wasn't happening, so on. So I would say about 90% of the time, that's how it was around my shop. So I'm downstairs in the basement. So I've got a little table that's like a picnic table. It's probably 6 foot long by 3 feet wide. And I have a little chair there, like a desk chair, swivel chair. and I'd have my little stereo sitting on top of the desk, and I'd have some different CDs playing, a multitude of styles, and I would be just listening to my music and jamming away and trimming the flowers and getting them ready to hang. So as I'm in the midst of finishing up one bud here and one bud there, I hear the doorbell ring. And once you hear a doorbell ring at a place where nobody knows you, you don't even have a mailing address tied to it, you're basically non existent. So anytime you hear, like I said, those noises before, especially a doorbell, your heart rate would just spike. Now, the feeling of having that, your blood pumping and your heart pounding harder, it's almost like if you are to get into an altercation where your adrenaline's pumping. So that doorbell rings, my adrenaline starts pumping harder and harder. And I'm thinking in my mind, okay, do I answer it? Do I not answer it? What's my next step? Because I think most of the time I wouldn't answer it. But every now and then I would get a feeling in my stomach like, I should probably answer it and make sure that I am not ignoring something that could be important. And who knows what would have happened? And probably nothing. I should have ignored it most of the time. Or I should have ignored it 100% of the time. Sometimes I didn't. So this particular time, I thought to myself, I might as well get up. Let's go see what this is about. I'll make it short and sweet. I actually had my girlfriend's dog there with me at the time. And so he was a good means of kind of a distraction. So I decided, well, okay, let's head up the stairs. So I start heading up the stairs. As you start getting closer to the door, it's amazing how your heart rate pounds even faster. So my heart rate is pounding, getting up to the top of the stairs. I'm walking through the kitchen. I got to walk through kitchen to the front door. So I'm walking through the kitchen. And I take a right turn and I look at the front door and I walk up to the door. I kind of look out the peephole. As I'm looking out the peephole, can't really make out who it is. It's a man, but I can't make out who it is. So right now it probably feels like I've been going through the doorbell ring 10 minutes ago in my head, but really it was only a couple seconds. So I've got my girlfriend's dog, this black lab. His name was Zeus. He was a big dog. He was like 90 pounds. So as I opened the door, I thought, I'll just act like I'm blocking the dog. And so I can't open the door all the way as I talk to this person. Okay, I'll do that. That'll make sense. So I take a big, deep breath and I unlock the door, open it up. Or I say, what can I help you with? And he goes, and this guy, he's probably in his mid 40s at the time, early 50s. And he goes, well, I'm actually looking for the owner of the house. And right then, my adrenaline really spiked. I'm like, what's he looking for the owner for? Why does he need to talk to the owner? That's what I'm thinking in my brain at the time. And he continues, oh, well, I want to talk to him about some stuff that's happened with the property. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on with the property? I don't know what is happening. Do they know what I'm doing here? I mean, I couldn't really follow what he was asking for. All I could tell is that he really wanted to talk to the owner. And I said, well, do you have the owner's name? Yeah, I got the owner's name. Okay. Number? Yes. Okay. Well, just try to give him a call. I'll let him know that you stopped by. Is there anything else? And he said, no, there's nothing else right now at this time. And I remember looking at him thinking, I feel like he knows something, but I just can't put my finger on it. So I took a deep breath and told him goodbye and have a great afternoon and shut the door. And it took me several minutes to calm down after he had left. I went back downstairs, relaxed, went and tried to recoup and understand what just happened. I think at that time too, I probably poured myself a drink, vodka and soda, and I was like, wow, that was intense. And there's something about that makes you can go kind of out of control where it's like, okay, now what's next? What's happening? So I tried to block that part of my thoughts out. Part of that was, of course, I was able to have a drink or two probably, but that really made this business real for me. I had a lot to risk at the time. I figured out a way to mentally work through that issue of potentially getting some law enforcement involved. And, I've got several other stories like this, and I'm going to be happy to share them with you. But the intensity of that situation really changed my life and how far I was willing to go to be successful in this industry. And I think that a lot of us out there, when they are weighing options on what will they really do to become successful, pushing through those hardest points and understanding who you are and what you are is key to your success. Because there will be situations, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but there will be situations where you will be put in a position of, oh man, how far am I going to take this and how far do I want to go? So that's just a little insight on some stuff that's happened with me, and I look forward to sharing some more with you guys today. But yeah, I write about the risk tolerance in my book. So that's something that I really think is key to becoming extremely successful, is pushing yourself on those limits and those intimidating times. So I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning or afternoon or evening, whatever time it is where you're at. And I look forward to sharing some more with you guys very soon. You guys have a great day.
You've just listened to another insightful episode of Plant Problems. If you like what you heard so far, don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues. For additional resources or to leave a review, head over to plantproblem.com. Join us again next week on Plant Problems with Tony Frischknecht. We look forward to having conversations with you as we go along this journey.